medicine as a whole is a scam. I'm saying
I
it's a
agree with you.
scam.
I'm glad you said
It
it, though.
really is. Here's why. The only thing they teach us is, okay, so this is what happens when a cell goes bad. The only thing you can do is just make it go bad, but for a longer period, and that way you don't die, right?
Mhm.
So that changed my whole theory and goal around medicine. Instead of preventing death, my hopes with studying this is to improve the quality of life rather than the quantity of life. You
But
know
what
what
if
I
you're
mean?
doing both? So Dr. David Sinclair, there was an episode of Future You with Elise Hu about the quest to reverse aging. And Dr. David Sinclair, who is a pretty well-known geneticist at Harvard Medical School, what he's been able to do is to really study sirtuins, which are like emergency responders inside our cells that then help the cells repair themselves. Because what his whole theory on aging is that as we age, when our cells are duplicating, our cells are constantly having to duplicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're making poorer and poorer copies. So it's like back in the old days of CDs, when you're copying CDs over and over and over again, there's CD degradation. And that's what happens as we're getting older. And that's what's responsible for our joints hurting and our hair turning gray and getting wrinkles and all these things. So he's like, okay, what if I hack that process? What if I sent in these sirtuins, and these sirtuins inside these cells could help cells make cleaner copies, and so there's not the degradation that comes as duplicating themselves as they're multiplying, and as a result, and now there's supplements for it, so that it's doing the same thing as exercise. So they say like, hey, you should exercise 45 minutes a day, 5 times a week, or whatever it is. And why are there benefits of exercise? Because what it does is it jumpstarts the sirtuins that keeps the cells from multiplying poorly.
Wow.
Instead, copying cleanly.
Okay.
And so now there is a new supplement
cool.
that would do that. And so in this episode, I actually do a whole regimen that includes exercise, that includes cutting out sugar, to try and reverse my biological age. So, they can get some age markers from you based on your blood and your habits and your diet and all these things. And it was a really interesting experiment, but that's essentially what you're talking about, Ali, like with the cells, right? Because if there is a way to prevent cell degradation, then ideally we could live longer. The moral question is, should humans be living longer? Should we be taking more resources on this planet longer? And then should politicians be staying in their jobs and not retiring and like keeping those old ideas in place until they're 120 because they're not dying anymore?